I'm trying to help with your lifestyle. How can I make you better in your business? How can I make you better with your family life? You know, body confidence was low. You know, confidence in general was low. You know, everyone wants to go and speak to females and stuff. So the mindset naturally comes with that, and I understand how much it's helped me with my life and impacted my life and made me the person I am today.
Some of the things you say is just ludicrous. What's the most outrageous thing you've seen about fitness that you've kind of looked at and thought, what the fuck are they even talking about?
And I'm not massive. I'm not fat. I'm not massive, but I was really skinny at 73. So that's when I started feeling a bit like, oh my God, I don't feel confident and stuff like that. And I was intrigued about why I was doing so extreme to get to that weight to fight.
For me, when I went into the deadlift, and then I think I got 160 at one point in the most sketchy looking rep I've ever done in my life. I walked off that, threw it onto the floor. Like, yeah, I'm the dog in this gym.
You're good, yeah.
Sit down because I'm walking in. He was actually just texting me saying it's not Abby, it's the boys. So Abby, don't know what yet, but he's lying to you. Hi guys, welcome to Innovate and Coffee, the podcast where we talk about innovation across all industries, all sizes. I'm Sam Nicholson, your host, and my guest today is Lewis Neill. He's a personal trainer, he's an entrepreneur, he's my personal trainer. Lou, why don't you give us an introduction to your professional past?
Yeah, so thank you for obviously having me on the podcast first and foremost. But basically, as Sam said there, I am a personal trainer / online coach. I'm sure we'll come into differences in this podcast. But yeah, that's my main business at the moment.
Brilliant. Lou, first question before we get into all that. What is your go-to choice of coffee?
Oh, good question. Obviously, I am a massive fan of coffee in general. It depends on the day and the environment. At home, I've got I wasn't as bold. I went with an espresso sage, so a little bit of both companies. And at the moment, I'm actually on the Starbucks capsules, which are really nice. But my go-to coffee of choice would be a flat white in any circumstances.
That's the go-to, no matter what, no matter the mood.
If it's a flat white or a latte with extra shots, which is basically a larger flat white.
That's the thing. I remember when before we actually started me being your client in personal training, online coaching, should I say? I always looked at your story and I thought, Lewis is at McDonald's. Like, what is going on? And I realized that you always got that morning coffee at McDonald's. I always had a theory: is it because one, it's dead cheap, or two, that's the only place that's open early enough to fit with your schedule?
Yeah, so it was the one that was only open. If I'm on the gym, you know, I'm in 6 o'clock, 6:15. I'll be at Mackey's for 4:45, 5:30. And the flat whites are actually really nice. I don't know if anyone agrees with me on that or thinks I'm a bit weird, but yeah, the coffee's actually quite nice. And again, you go through phases now that there's a Costa drive-through, now that there's a Starbucks drive-through. It's getting a little bit more expensive, but the variety is still there.
Oh yeah. So right, back to the purpose then. So you said then, introduce yourself as personal trainer and online coach. I don't know, and for others who don't know, what is the difference between personal trainer and online coach?
So first and foremost, my company name or my business name is Lewis Neill Coaching. And why is that? Because I think a coach is someone who goes just beyond being a trainer in terms of, you know, this is what you do in the gym. So personal training is basically people will come to you one-to-one, groups or whatever, in face-to-face, and we'll do a session. You know, we might chat over the weekend once or so, might look over your nutrition a couple of times in the sessions, and that's about it. I've been there, done that years ago, and I've seen it a lot now with personal trainers. Whereas an online coach is, you don't meet face-to-face, your diaries don't have to match. Everything is covered in terms of training, your nutrition, your mindset, your day-to-day, your lifestyle. Everything is under one umbrella. And as the word says, coach, it's in order to excel you now and also lead you in the future, so you don't need me anymore.
Okay, so your goal, which I always thought, is this the goal of personal trainers? Is it to maintain or kind of get to a point and then let them go?
So obviously, from a business perspective, you don't want no one to leave. Of course you don't. But yeah. everyone has their own coaching life. So I've had clients who have been with me since the first week I became a personal trainer and are still with me to this day. I have people who've been with me for 6 months. Yourself, you've been with me for a few months as well. Yeah. It just depends on, and to me personally, the journey never stops. You know, you can go through many different phases with training, but the journey will never stop. And that's why these people who've been training with me for 3 years understand that. Is that, you know, it's not just one aspect. So it's to get you in shape as quick as possible. It's to build them habits, build them relationships. As a coach, I'm trying to help with, as much as it might sound like I'm preaching, I'm trying to help with your lifestyle. How can I make you better in your business? How can I make you better with your family life? Everything under one umbrella. So the goal is to be able to, obviously people do it themselves, but often than not, I see a lot of people try and do that themselves. And again, they require that accountability most of the time.
Of course, yeah. So it's interesting that you talk about, obviously there's the physical side, which we covered a lot, but there's also the mental and the business aspect of it. So let's focus on the mental aspect of it. Is that deliberately crossover with what you do, or is that just something you naturally had to embrace because it was a byproduct of what you were doing?
No, so like speaking with my mentor recently, like he's noticed that that's one big avenue that I went down, which is like mindset sort of things. And I've sort of I haven't fell into that. Like going back to my own journey, I deal with a lot of people who are in my shoes. So my 90% of my clientele are males in the same sort of age range as me, and are often where I was. So basically, you know, body confidence was low, you know, confidence in general was low. You know, everyone wants to go and speak to the females and stuff. So the mindset naturally comes with that, and I understand how much it's helped me with my life and impacted my life and made me the person I am today. So I obviously want to express that through coaching, and understand that it's not just about training, but sharpening your mindset will lead to so many other things in your life: relationships, family, business, and obviously your physical health as well.
And routine, I suppose, part of that as well. Like since we started about 4 or 5 months ago now, my routine has been, obviously you know me, I've fallen off a few times trying to keep track of my nutrition and everything like that. But the actual getting into the gym, doing that workout every day or every other day, depending what the schedule put in says, that's helped me kind of be more strict with myself and realize that it might not be what you want to do right now, but it's necessary for where you want to get to.
That's it. It's that instant versus delayed gratification. People are always looking for the thing they want today. Amazon Prime, we want things today. I bought an iPad the other day. I went out and bought it because I didn't want to get it delivered the next day. And that just shows the society that we live in.
Yeah.
But for any sort of results, whether it comes to your body composition, your mindset, habits and behaviors, you've got to be with the delayed gratification. You've got to put the work in now to see the results 6 months down the line. You know, you're not going to expect the instant results straight away. So always look for that. You know, it might not be a good thing now. I might not be feeling the benefits now, but I guarantee down the line, them things will shape you as a person. So even with routine, with gyms and stuff, people go to me, "Oh, how often do you go to the gym?" I go, "Well, usually like 4 or 5 times a week." Like, how do you fit that in? It's just part of my life. Like, I don't think about it. I just turn up at the same similar times each week, and I do what I need to do, and that's just part of my life. And when that's taken away from me, which I have been in lockdown, it's not easy. So yeah, everyone has their own sorts of things, and routine is massively important with that.
Yeah, and you as you said, then when people ask you how do you fit all that in, I actually hear that a lot, whether it's to do with gym or work or whatever you're really doing. And I always find that people aren't struggling with finding the time. It's just not a priority. That's exactly. As simple as that. They don't prioritize enough to make it a part of their day. So
that's exactly it.
It's the mindset of them, as you said before. Speaking of which, was transitioning from personal training, which is obviously where you started, said before, transitioning people from face-to-face personal training to online coaching. Was that tough trying to get people's mindset to shift, or was that adopted quite well?
Yeah, so as you can imagine, I think it's more of a trust thing. It's like, you know, even like looking back at client testimonials that they've done me, it's like, well, first going into online coaching, how is this going to work if I don't actually see the trainer? How is this going to work if we don't really, you know, I'm not going to be in there with him. He's not going to be able to push me. How does it work? So I had this misconception when I first heard of online coaching a few years ago about, like, you know, it's just a training program and it's a little bit of nutrition and that's it. Whereas obviously when I've created my business online, I obviously know it's a lot more than that. And your coach can put in as much effort as he wants to in different areas in order to get the best outcome. So I think the main shift was obviously March when lockdown hits, because I was majoritively majoritively in the gym with one-to-one clients, and obviously that was taken away from us. So the option for clients was, okay, you can either follow me online and trust me, or you won't be trained. As simple as that. That's the two options that we've got, and that's everyone's in the same boat. And thinking back now, the majority of people who were one-to-one are now still online clients because they prefer it. It fits with their diaries a lot better, it fits with their family a lot better, and ultimately you get to see me more.
Yeah. And is that your focus now? Like, in fact, seeing you more, that actually goes back to what you said before. People want stuff now, they don't want to wait. It's just providing that easy access.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So call away.
Exactly. So is that your focus now? Do you think when you look at your future in online coaching, personal training, do you see yourself prioritizing online coaching above personal training now, or are you unsure yet?
Well, I'll let you into a little secret. So at the start of the year, one of my New Year's resolutions was to have 10 clients online. This was before anything obviously happened.
Yeah.
I think this year, in and out, probably 70, 80 people.
Wow.
Something like that, I would say. So obviously I've excelled in that. And even my girlfriend says to me, I think you are actually classed now as an online coach.
Yeah.
But people forget that you actually do PT as well. So I've just sort of fell into that bracket a little bit more.
Is there any sort of controversy on that? Do you see some PTs who I don't believe in the online coaching, or do you get any sort of hate for stuff like that, or it's just kind of?
I think there is definitely, there's definitely two sides to things. People think, online coaching, how is he delivering a good service? But I know from myself, and I know that the things that I put in place and the systems I put in place provide a good service. And probably, I don't know what other people are doing, but I guarantee it's up there with what people are doing. And I feel like if I'm saying myself as a personal trainer that some people need PT, some people need face-to-face because you might be really new to the gym, don't have a clue how to train or do things safely. And then you've got the other bracket of people who sort of know what to do, but they just need that little bit of guidance and assistance. And online coaching is mostly for them. It's for them to, not waste that time, not waste that, that money to come and see me and exchange time for money, and obviously cover overheads with the gym rent and stuff like that. So there's always going to be people who will think, how is he developing a good service? Or, online coaching's a drop are like, just because you can't PT good enough, they just jump to online. But it's not that at all. Or you might see like the laptop lifestyle and say, like, well, he just wants to go on holiday all the time and work from his laptop. It's like, no, well, in actual fact, I want to help more people for a cheaper price point, getting even better results. And it frees up a lot more of my time as well. So everybody wins.
Exactly. And what I've noticed as well, what you can offer due to being online is like head and shoulders above what other people offer. For example, there's been times where obviously people who don't know, I'm one of Lewis' clients. On Mondays, we've got the yoga where we do it online. And there's no kind of, be here at this time, at this place. It's really accessible because I literally move this table, which my laptop is on. I move it off to the side. I put the laptop on it. And then there's about 10 to 15 different people on there with another yoga instructor who's in a different place. And it's just, you get more. It's easier to collaborate. You can grow your business better because you've got more access to more people because you're online.
Exactly. I think that business in general is going that way. You might see people not returning back to offices, maybe not at all.
Yeah.
It just depends, but it's definitely having more access to people. So again, you don't have to set a time. That's the issue, is that when you exchange time for money in the sense of, meet at this location at 6 o'clock in the morning, you both got to match diaries. You got to make sure that you can both fit at that time. And I've only got so many hours in my day that I can do that. So instead of sacrificing family time and relationships and stuff like that. So the transition's obviously the best thing is where I can reach more people, I can help more people, but the time is still the same as what I'd do for one-to-one.
Exactly. So completely agree with you. So then looking at the fitness industry as a whole, not just personal training, I'm talking about, every aspect of it when it comes to supplements that people can get, access to gyms. Do you think, especially with lockdown being a catalyst to make people kind of work from home and work out from home, what's that looking like? Is there kind of fear in gym owners? Is there like uncertainty looking out of what the current state is going to be like? How are they going to transition over the next 1, 2, 3, 6 months?
Yeah, so I think like face-to-face training will never go away. People always need that person to be there. People always need that social connection. People always need them gyms. I think a lot of people now can realize what you can do at home and understand the benefits of what you can do at home, and will naturally just stay in that position. But obviously, if you're like me, like yourself, you probably are missing the gyms, and it's probably, you probably appreciate it even more now than what you did before you even went into lockdown. So
Definitely.
there's definitely going to be change in the industry. You might see, like, obviously, as a personal trainer, and I know a lot of personal trainers, the only thing that we've been able to do is go online. So whether that sticks, whether that people stick to fully online or whatever, that's totally up to them, and depends on how they're getting on. But I think once things are back into some sort of normal, I think the online stuff will die down for a lot of people, and they'll go back to doing that regular one-to-one, which they enjoy and which I enjoy. So, yeah, I think there's definitely a change, but personally, the gyms will never go away, and your one-to-one training will never go away either.
Okay. So is that how you see, if you had to tell me now, what's the fitness industry going to look like in 5 years? Could you begin to predict what it might look like, or how you see it going, and how you want to shape what you're doing to fit in with that?
I think it's because the industry is so big as a whole. Like, there's so many different parts to it. There's so many different avenues towards it. I just came to my head, let's take Peloton or whatever.
Yeah.
People think, oh, that's going to crush people. Why would you get a personal trainer, or why would you go to the gym if you can just get a bike at home and do a workout on a bike? But that's only one very small aspect to someone's journey. Yeah. There's so many other aspects towards it, the community aspect towards it as well, and stuff like that. So in 5 years, I think it'll be exactly where it is now, filled with more shit. Probably.
Fair enough. Yeah. You see that, I mean, everywhere, just shiny new toys coming in. So yeah. Peloton's one of them. For me, I think a big step in the fitness industry would be access of knowledge, and how easy it is for people to gain that knowledge and retain it. So is there anything that you, obviously you got your online training now, you do a lot of courses. Are them courses with the intention of showing yourself as the knowledge base, or is it just because you have that knowledge, why not pass it on?
So the course I do now, I'm remotely based on business and growth, with aspects of becoming a better coach. I'm currently looking at another course to do to expand my knowledge, because you never stop learning. Again, there's so much stuff to learn, or so much stuff that you want to learn, that you'll never stop learning. But the issue with again, as we're going back to instant versus delayed gratification, is that instant gratification. People aren't bothered about me telling them, protein does this and carbohydrates do this. It's actually implementing it. You can go and Google that and find anything you want about nutrition or training. It's actually implementing it and getting it from the right source. So for me, it's about being the go-to for a lot of people, and hopefully my followers will trust what I say, knowing that I'm probably right in what I'm saying. So I think it's just trying to lead with that, and being the person to go to if people are ever stuck for something. Going, I can trust what he's saying, because knowledge it's vast. Even the bad knowledge, it's out there. So again, what I was saying is, in 5 years, there's going to be even more quote unquote shit. There's going to be more bad knowledge as well as good knowledge. So it's separating it out and seeing what's right and what's wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the one thing. Misinformation is massive, huge in the fitness industry. Some of the things I see, I'm not knowledgeable enough to know exactly what's wrong with it, but some of the things you see, it's just ludicrous. What's the most outrageous thing you've seen about fitness that you've kind of looked at and thought, what the fuck are they even talking about? Is there anything that springs to mind straight away?
Nothing springs to mind, because it's just bombarded with all sorts. Like, the thing that bothers me is people trying to sell something for a pretty penny, basically. So there's loads of things now about, because of keto and the ketogenic diet, which has been around. It's not new. It's not new at all. It's been around for a while, but because there's sort of a bandwagon with what it does and so its supposed benefits, people have jumped on that to try and sell certain products. And me and Joel have researched these products, the Lid Lifters, the podcast that I'm part of. They were selling a product for £130, which lasts, I think it's 30 servings. We found the exact scientific powder, and I think it was £30 for 500 servings or something stupid like that. So that's the sort of stuff you're dealing with.
They're just branding it in their own thing and putting all these random messages onto it.
This is going to do this. If you don't eat for 48 hours and you eat this or you drink this, you'll lose 10 pounds. Probably because you haven't eaten for 48 hours. That's probably why.
Yeah, that goes back again to what you're saying, instant gratification.
Yeah.
Is that same category as, you know, what is it, 1 week abs or 6 minute biceps? How do you tackle that? Like, that's obviously a mindset thing as well. Do you have people coming to you saying, oh, I want to be, you know, 3 dress sizes smaller, or I want to have, you know, pecs and nice abs in the next 3-4 weeks? How do you deal with that? What do you say?
There's 2 things with that. Firstly, is that there's a time and a place for everything. If someone needs to drop 20 pounds in 3 weeks, for example, it can be achieved, but is it recommended? Is it going to benefit you? Probably not. It's probably going to make your relationships worse with food and stuff like this, and et cetera, et cetera. The other side of things is that I've had clients who come to me and go, well, I've seen this. I'm going to try this, even though I've told them, you know, I know my ethos and my aspects is I'll never tell someone no. I'll tell someone, okay, here's my thoughts on it. I'll send you some stuff relating to that subject. You by all means try it, but come back to me in a few days and see how you're feeling. Yeah. And then it's more of an education thing about, like, yeah, you're right in saying that. And then it's like me going, okay, I've just had a chocolate muffin. That chocolate muffin going to make me fat? Not at all. It fits into me day to day. And it's showing people that simplify it as much as you can. And honestly, you'll cut through all that crap that's out there.
Yeah, it's full of noise, isn't it, right now? Just trying to navigate around it. So I put a video out yesterday talking about, obviously you're coming onto the podcast, and I said you're an entrepreneur, personal trainer, and a fighter. And I don't know exactly what the fighting background is, but I said that and I realized I probably should have gave a lot more context on that. So what is the history of fighting?
So when I was a kid, probably, you know, everyone in England probably starts with that, football or rugby, one or the other. Yeah. I was a footballer from like 5 till I was about 14. And my friend invited me to come to this MMA gym, which is mixed martial arts, which is obviously massive now. At the time, it was only small.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, it's going to help me with my training, because I played at a decent level. You know, I was at academies and stuff like that. It's going to help me with my training. A year in or something, I quit football in total, and then just stuck with fighting. And fighting, when we say fighting, I'm talking about mixed martial arts. Specifically for me, it was Thai boxing. So I had my first fight when I was like 16, and honest to God, it was probably one of the best things I've ever done. And that might sound really weird. I was a very shy kid. Okay. I wouldn't touch a fly. I would never like, I still don't like confrontation or anything like that. But what it did for me as a person in terms of not only confidence, but like discipline and stuff like that was a huge. So yeah, I was fighting for a few years, and that's where my journey started with fitness. Is that I remember cutting down to, I'm like 96 kilograms, 97 kilograms. When I was fighting, I was 70 kilograms. So I was like 26 kg less. And I'm not massive. I'm not fat. I'm not massive, but I was really, really skinny at 70 kg. So that's when I started feeling a bit like, oh my God, I don't feel confident and stuff like that. And I was intrigued about why I was doing so extreme to get to that weight to fight at that age, and so much training. And then when I got into it, I just really loved the science behind it, and how this must be other ways to do this, etc., etc. And that's how I just led on, basically.
Amazing. I love like when there's something that triggers something. I like that kind of like need and want to go into something that's like boss to hear. So fighting straight into personal training into online coaching. That online coaching, personal training transition, linking back to the podcast, I'd call that innovation for me. I think moving from face-to-face to online is a big piece of innovation, because you got to know how to, 1, grab the attention of your audience, 2, understand what they want, 3, provide that service. So what did you do personally? How did you learn what your audience wants enough to get that attention?
So it's fun, again, going back to your mostly target audience and understanding what their needs are and how they're actually feeling. It's the same feelings that I've felt. So, you know, making sure I'm solving them problems and giving out free information. You know, people are so held back with holding stuff to themselves. Again, you can go and find out all of this. This is nothing new that I'm telling people on social media and stuff. I'll teach as much as I can. If one person gets any sort of help from it, I've done my job. So just to go off topic a little bit, Paul, one of my clients who's just finished up with me, actually, he actually came to me, and on the call that he said, I want to sign up with you because you've helped me lose 20 kilograms over the last 2 years, and I want to sort of pay you back, but I also want to work with you. So for me, that was absolutely massive. So it is innovation. I think with coaching, the first thing I like to think of is service. So if I'm going to charge X amount for a service, I want that service to be as good as possible. So what are the things that I would like to see as a client? Okay, I'd want to educate myself. So I'll make an education hub for my clients that only they have access to, and they can go in there and watch videos and content and articles and stuff like that.
Client corner.
The client corner, exactly. Nice. So we made that. And then you go, what do people struggle with in terms of accountability? Okay, we'll do a weekly check-in on this day because that's when they're going to be more accountable, and so on and so forth. So it's finding what people have problems with or issues with, and just trying to solve them every single day, which I'm still not perfect with what I do now, but I'm just constantly trying to solve new issues all the time.
Absolutely. And that's obviously, as you said, never ending process. So how do you find them problems? Like, do you just identify it, or do you have a process that you look into to try and find them? And to kind of give you an example, one thing that we do when we've got our own company, Persona 1, I do with Jack, and we find that when we're offering a new service, we break down a value proposition of the jobs that our target audience has to get done, what pains that they have, what the gains are, how they measure a job well done. We look into that and we try and figure out what's the best experiment we can do to find out what's the most prominent pain in this area and how does that overlap into what we're trying to offer. Do you have a similar process that you follow?
Again, you get different information, because obviously there's so much information that I could post out, and how do I get information from? This is like experience with clients. So if clients ask me a question, then if they're asking it, I know that 100 other people are going to want the same answer. So that's where you get that from. And then working with people over time, you start to find things that work for people and things that don't work for people, and you start to relate them to other people who you might work with or that might suit them a little bit better. So from experience, you just tend to find what people struggle with. And obviously the main thing at the moment, just to with lockdown, is that mindset's going to be at the forefront. People and motivation is lacking, because I'm exactly the same what I was. People are going to feel isolated. People feel like they can't progress because there's so much stigma around gyms closing and stuff like that. So it's my job to say, okay, really dial in on your mindsets, but also here's what you can do without gyms. And give them a breakdown of what results can still be made and why they can be made. So it just comes at different times and understanding at the time what people need mostly.
So Lou, obviously I put out on my Instagram, you put on your Instagram, any questions that anybody has to ask in advance of this podcast. So we got 5, and you got to be ready for them because they're pretty good questions. Some of them I think you'll struggle with, but that's why we're here. So the first one, which I found quite interesting, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
So again, this often changes, and like I'm massively into, again, routines. I'm writing down goals and stuff like that. So in 5 years, I probably see myself being in obviously a growth stage of like having people, probably coaches working, having a scaling the business up. Again, with training one-to-one, I still think I'll be doing that in some capacity. But also I'll be looking to venture into other businesses and stuff like that as well. Probably property at some point as well.
Yeah, property, amazing place to put your money into. So yeah, completely with you on that one. It's an interesting one. So this one for me kind of sits in towards marketing as much as it does actual personal training. So how do you stand out from other personal trainers and online coaches?
So for me, I think I'm relatable to a lot of people. So you could go on, you can find thousands and thousands of coaches out there, but why choose me? It's who you relate to. So if we can get along and you can really relate to what I'm saying and you can trust me as a person and you like my ethos and my ways around training and how I handle clients and mindset, then that's what makes me stand out to other people. Personally, I'm just doing my job as well as I can by providing the best service possible to my clients who want to work with me. So, yeah.
Cool. Brilliant. Let's see. What's your favorite training exercise? It's another one we got through.
Those training exercises, there's so many different. I go through stages as well. So sometimes I really like, training legs or doing squats, and then some weeks I'll absolutely despise them. It's got to be. I'm sure it's got to be a deadlift, because it's like the powerhouse of all exercises. It's, you're using multiple muscles in the body. I'm pretty strong at it, and it's just something about lifting something really heavy off the floor once.
Yeah.
That's something cool about it.
I'm completely with you on that. What I found when I went to the gym, it was like, I've not used any of my muscles in such a long time. So when we started our journey together, so I found that chest press, it was kind of the most demoralizing thing I could have done, because I've got Jack with me. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get 100 kg for 1 or 2 reps." I was like, "All right, then I'll just stick with the 40." So for me, when I went into the deadlift, and then I think I got 160 at one point in the most sketchy looking rep I've ever done in my life. I walked off that belt, threw it onto the floor. Like, yeah, I'm the dog in this gym.
You're good, yeah.
Sit down, because I'm walking in